What? There's a radar for Automobilista 2? Yes sir! Find out more right here, right now. Greetings Romies and welcome to romrom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. When time permits, please consider subscribing. Oh yeah, welcome to a radar for Automobilista 2, at last. First of all, a word of advice. This is a neat little program by Master Loser. Master Loser is the hacker who proved how easy it is to cheat on racing sims and did some online server racing to prove it. Some people took exception to this, marking him as a cheater. And truth to be told, he didn't help things himself by being a little bit too aggressive in defending his position, which he himself acknowledges. In general in IT and especially in IT security, hacker has no negative connotations, as most of us started as such, trying to find out things in our systems. For many of us, a hacker is somebody who will try to figure things out and will try to break systems for the good of the systems. A lot of hackers work in IT security and we are all thankful they exist. So yeah, Master Loser, the maker of this clever hack for Automobilista 2, has some bad reputation for his past shenanigans and his bad behavior. We have come to know him as an interesting person that has learned to be less aggressive while still loving to fiddle around with code to make it better, as is the case with this radar. Now, if you are relenting because of his reputation, that's your prerogative. We until now have not experienced any issues with the radar. You decide by yourself if you want to use it or not. For those still with us, here's how you set up the radar. First, download the DLL from the link in the description. If you want to be completely sure, let Windows Defender check it for virus signatures or behavior. It's always a good idea to do so anyway, no matter which file you downloaded. Go to the folder Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Automobilista 2, x64 and rename the original file dbghelp.dll to dbghelp.dll.bag for backup or anything similar you will understand in say half a year. Be aware you may have to do this procedure every time there's an update of Automobilista 2, as the dbghelp.dll could be overwritten by the update. But in theory, the JSON file should not be touched, so you might only need to drop the DLL file for the radar of the original one after an update. Start Automobilista 2 once. You will get a message telling you that a config file has been created and where you find it. Click OK and Automobilista 2 closes automatically. What has happened is that the new dbghelp DLL has recognized it's been started for the first time and has created a file called pams2spotter.json, where you can change all the settings for the configuration. Even if it's quite self-explanatory, let's open the file and go through it quickly. You'll notice first that there is a config setting for flat screen radar and further down a setting for VR radar, as this radar works for both views. The variables you can set are the same, but what you set for one can be completely different to what you set for the other. First thing you'll see is center around self, and let's not touch that for now. Next one, center offset, which changes the distance in front or behind your car that the radar is showing. The higher the number, the less you'll see of what is going on in front and more of what is going on at your back. The next one's easy. Draw border was set up for Master Loser for debugging, but some people find it useful to have the radar always show a border even when there are no cars around you. True turns it on, false turns it off. We'll meet these true versus false statements elsewhere, so keep in mind what they mean. True turns it on, false turns it off. Easy once you know it, right? Height scale is indirectly related to the size of the radar, as it's a fraction of the overall height of the monitor. And let's say what you see on your VR goggles is a monitor for simplicity's sake, okay? So if your monitor works under the standard height of 1080 pixels, a height scale of 0.5 would be 540 pixels, half of the height, and 540 pixels width, as the radar is always shown as a rectangle. We consider 540 to be too big, but play around with it to see what fits you best. Radar scale is something different. It's like a zoom to your car or away from it, looking at it from above. It sets up how much of a zone around your car is visible. The lower the number, the nearer the virtual camera is to your car. Again, play around with this number until it fits your preference. Master switch is almost self-explanatory. It turns the radar on or off with the true or false statements we discussed earlier. True for on, false for off. Vertical offset moves the radar up and down on a range between 0 and 100. 100 is at the bottom of the monitor or VR, 0 at the height. And half of the radar is off-screen in these cases. 50 puts it smack in the middle, which we don't recommend. That's it for the radar for now. And if you're only interested in the radar, move to around minute 8 in this video, as we will now speak about a couple of extras this application has to offer. Let's move to fuel data, which amongst other shows you data about your fuel. Imagine that. Master Loser is still working on it and says himself we should not rely completely on it. It shows your average fuel usage, how many laps you still can drive with the current fuel load, how many laps are left in total based on the remaining race time, and how many laps you have in excess of the end of the race, so you know how aggressively you can use fuel or if you should go easy on fuel usage. Again, you have a master switch to turn it on or off by using true or false. You can decide to see it only on VR or only on a flat screen with the show in VR and show on flat screen switches, and the last one is show safety points, which shows your hidden safety points, your tier, how many points you have gained or lost during this session, and how many points you need to advance to the next tier. This is of course a new development based on the introduction of driver ranking by Razer. You will not be able to see your data on safety points if the master switch for fuel data is off. Next is the spotter, which gives you an auditive information on what you see on the radar. If you have Crew Chief running, you can turn this off, as we consider Crew Chief easier to use for spotter information than the PAMS2 spotter. Continuing in the JSON file and ignoring the VIA radar settings, you'll find different color settings where you can set up the color of different objects on the radar. The colors are set up using RGB code. There are many sites showing the RGB code for a specific color. The one we've linked on the description is just one of literally hundreds. We consider the names of the different color settings self-explanatory, but if you struggle to understand any of them, ask away in the comments or on our Discord. The next line after all the color settings is radar visibility, which controls the transparency of the radar, with 255 being completely visible down to 0, making the radar completely invisible. One important information after this message. If you like this video and would like to see more, consider becoming a patron, thus letting us spread our wings. And a big thank you to our patrons. An interesting thing to know is that you can edit the file while Automobilista 2 is already running, and if you save the file and then inside of Automobilista 2 you press Shift and F11, the data of this JSON file will be reloaded and you can see the changes directly. If you have any questions about this, leave us a comment or go to the software's Discord, see the link in our description, to ask Master Loser himself. For more mods, infos and news about Automobilista 2 or any other of the racing sims, check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.